Tales from my D&D campaign.
Previously,
the divine Emperor Kulrov has chosen to extend a most generous offer. His offer is peace.
we get back all that farmland for free, and they'll stop attacking us?
It's obviously a trap. Why else would they make the offer? A monitor! You may be the only nation ever to be given a yes or no choice whether or not to exist. I hope you choose slaughter. I really want to fight one of these guys.
From a purely tactical standpoint, he is at a tremendous disadvantage.
It's just too stupid. I could sabotage the peace process.
Mahar and I have discovered some kind of cult activity in the city down below.
It's related to the Vampire Kings.
This is the power granted to me by our Lord Cornello. Come, friends, let us expel these uninvited guests.
Elder, Mountain, Hammer!
Graven uses a sending spell to contact Fizwell, the gnome artificer at the Basilica. What is this mission all about?
It's incredibly exciting. We've discovered the location of a powerful ancient artifact in the Feywild.
For some time, the Hand had been trying to create a weapon of man against the monitors. Of course, when crafting items of power, you need powerful components.
There are a number of artifacts and lost things that I've been trying to locate and pin down. Normally, it's a borderline lost cause, and if my research could uncover even a tenth of the things I've been looking for, it would be an immeasurable boon. But recently, through my contacts back home in the Feywild, I learned about a very unnatural disaster befalling a forest, about a week west by northwest of Castle, or at least the location corresponding to that in the Feywild. I heard that something was eating or grinding down this forest, and through a combination of divinations and some information sent back by my friends in the area, I've determined that the cause of the situation is an amulet that belonged to King Kelvoras of the Eladrin, but which was lost when he was slain in the Shatter War. I still haven't the damnedest how 1,000 years later some trivial spirit ended up with this thing, but this amulet hung not on a chain, but on a lock of hair from Kelvoras' mistress at the time. We're talking about an artifact crafted from the actual hair of Dialia. That, plus the skill of the Eladrin craftspeople of legend, a millennium of time passing, and the magnitude of love and sorrow surrounding their tale, this is a serious item. And it's kind of tearing up the place, so you'll be saving a big chunk of land and all of the things that live there. You'd actually be doing some kind of good deed as a bonus, but if you can retrieve this thing, it will be a major boost to our attempts to find a counter to the monitors. I've got a counter to the monitors. It's called my fist.
An artifact like that is a big deal, so the heroes leave Ivana and Draven's staff in town and mount up, riding to the edge of a forest in the Vistrian countryside, near the place where the disturbance in the Feywild was said to be, and they prepare for their first plane-shifting expedition. They need powerful magic to cross over, because neither the PCs nor the Hand of Sirius know of any natural portals to the Feywild around here. Even Angel only knows of a couple of such gateways, and they are on the other side of the continent.
I can cast the plane shift. I have more 5th level castings per day than Black does.
So, do we all hold hands in a big circle? That, or form a human pyramid?
4, 5, 6. We do have the right number of people for that.
With only 3 planes accessible to mortals, our cosmos is so different from the traditional D&D universe that the 5th level cleric spell Plane Shift needed a major overhaul. In our world, regardless of how you travel to another plane, you arrive in the location corresponding to the spot you just left. So, Plane Shift doesn't teleport you at all, and in this way, it doesn't need an Eldritch Eye. Instead, the spell creates a portal which a group can pass through, which remains in that spot for up to a week, invisible and intangible, until a member of the expedition spends an action to reopen it. However, when using the spell, you need to get back to your home plane before your plane shift expires, or suffer some very unpleasant plane lag. Entering the portal, they emerge into a grove of huge flowers with 2-foot-thick stems. The multiple layers of underbrush are dense and full of insect life, most of which looks pretty familiar, give or take some funky coloration, or an extra set of legs or antennae here and there. As they are looking around, they see a praying mantis pounce a multibug, foiled by its natural defense, a mirror image-like ability. The multibug flies away, Or not. Looks like the frogclops can see through illusions.
Feywild!
This is amazing. This is disturbing. I'll grab a soil sample, though. Whenever he's had a moment, Draven's been working on a device to help with his research. He has a working prototype back in his alchemy lab for a planar spectrometer to help him analyze the energy of the magical astral plague which had infected everyone exposed to the overloading Ginneron portal. He's hoping he can advance his research by acquiring samples from the Feywild and the Shadowfell to help him filter out the planar background radiation. For now, though, passing through the grove of giant flowers into a more normal-looking grassland, they find a forest and stream lie in about the same location as they did back in Vistria, except the trees, the brush, even the land and the sky were all different.
Is that a green elephant, or have I been drinking too much?
I can assure you I have not been drinking. The elephant is green.
Otherwise, it appears pretty normal for an elephant. But why? Like, yeah, Feywild, everything's different, but what's the purpose of an elephant being green? Why would nature select for green elephants?
Duh, look up.
What the heck is that?
A rock.
A rock with wings?
Rock. R-O-C. A large predatory bird.
They snatch up elephants the way an eagle catches a rabbit.
Right. So, camouflage. Let's get the hell out of the open.
Aw, I want to see it catch an elephant. Oh man, do you think we could ride those things?
I'm afraid it would not fit through my portal.
Damn, 'cause that would have been awesome.
I bought a figurine of wondrous power that can summon a full-size marble elephant. We could ride that. Except mine is in the form of a big marble fist. Because serious.
Cool. But wait, the birds are why the elephants are green on top. Why do they have blue underbellies?
Uh-oh. Maybe there's something low to the ground that eats them. Like, snakes.
Or ankegs.
Or they're flying elephants! Anyway, we're too small to interest the rock, but we should get out of the open before that flock of pyros notices us.
Pyros?
They're like hawks, regular-sized, but they just have flames where their heads should be. They get pretty aggressive.
Yeah, let's make for the trees. Their objective, the minor spirit which got a hold of the artifact, is supposed to be to the north, so they enter the Nilly Woods, a forest of blue trees the height of giant redwoods, but with trunks less than a foot thick and leaves so wide and thin that they shouldn't be able to support themselves. Are you going to fly up for vision? Last time I flew up high to scout, Daggerface showed up and everyone almost died.
Yeah, but I wasn't there.
That's true. Bad things tend to happen when we play without you. Little one, you spot a panther standing still, watching you from 60 feet away. Nobody else can see it because it's technically invisible.
A panther? Not a displacer beast or anything?
Nope, no pseudopods. Looks like a normal panther, other than being invisible.
And it's not attacking or anything?
It meets your eyes, but it's standing very still, just watching.
Well, a normal animal wouldn't attack a group of us like this. I'll just keep an eye on him in case he does anything, and watch for any more of them.
Do you tell the others?
Nah, Draven's freaked out enough already.
Oh, thanks. The panther wanders off as they get farther away, crossing the forest stream, who startles them by speaking up.
You're from the Feywild, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, they are.
Have you seen my sister?
Do you mean the river there in this same location? We didn't get this close.
Well, when you see her, tell her she wouldn't be so bored if she'd try flowing the other way every once in a while.
And the river slows to a crawl, then reverses its flow before your eyes. This place is messed up. Let's just get what we came for and get the hell back to Vistria. They travel for several hours. There's more wildlife than they are used to seeing in the Fadelands, but the majority is small animals and insects. Those crazy spell-like or supernatural defenses seem to be the exception rather than the norm.
You sure we can't fit a rock through the portal?
I'm quite certain.
'Cause all I can think of now is flying over the Diluvian capital. Suborbital bombardment with boulders the size of elephants. That would be pretty awesome. Why are you in such a rush to beat up this poor thing?
The lean figure drops down from high up in a tree, landing lightly on a leaf which doesn't look like it could support his weight.
How do you know what we're here for?
It's miles across. You've come all the way from another plane, and beelined right for it. Look, whatever you think it's done, that thing is innocent. Or did you just come to rip out its heart?
With his short stature and pointed ears, this guy looks like an Eladrin, but Angel identifies him as one of the Bateen, a Fey being whose people are considered both Seelie and Unseelie, which is to say, they are accepted members of both the courts of the good Fey, like fairies, and of the main body of the bad Fey, such as Redcaps.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. Sense? We're talking about the Fey. I take it you were responsible for this? Me? I'm a spectator. I just don't want to miss the show. If you insist on going over there and trying to stop it, breaking up the party, I'm going to have to try to stop you. But I can offer you a compromise. If you'll sit back for a couple days, let it go on for another 10 kilometers or so before you try to stop it, I'll find a way to help you win.
Why?
This spirit thing will devour 10 kilometers in only 2 days?
And what will it destroy in that time? What is it you want?
I just want to make sure it reaches the village of that obnoxious Woodwoad tribe. It won't even hurt them. Well, maybe one or two particularly stupid ones. It's slow enough that when they see it coming, they can just walk away. Can they? They aren't, like, rooted or something?
I do not think Woodwoads are bound to their trees like Dryads.
They won't die. But I'm keen to see them learn a little lesson about the pointlessness of their closed-minded territorialism. All I know about Woodwoads is they are kind of dicks, but I think they're pretty harmless. They keep to themselves.
We're not going to just stand by while an innocent village is destroyed, are we?
Pfft, no. Did I mention? These Briarvex aren't too fond of the Woodwoads either. Get in there!
Almost a dozen large plant men, covered in spikes, emerge from hiding spots in the underbrush, while the Bateen draws an oversized bow the length of his whole body, and the party leaps into action. Draven barely has time to shield the party before the mischievous Fey unleashes a hail of arrows, firing so many shots it looks like even the arrows fired by his shadow become real and deadly. Mahar and Angel start tearing into the minions, but when the Briarvex act, two of them work together to cast Entangle, trapping some of the PCs in place, while the other plants stride through the vines with impunity. They all have reach and 2 attacks per round at a competent bonus, but with Draven's group buff to armor class, they still have a hard time hitting most of the heroes. Black is especially hard to hit, and when one of them gets lucky and manages to stab through a weaker point in his armor, the minion actually dies from one of his several backlash damage effects. Otherwise, though, when they do hit with their massive thorns, they leave thorns in the wounds, and if that Briarvex isn't killed before it acts again, it can spend a swift action to aggravate the embedded thorns, inflicting even more damage.
You guys can handle this. I'm going for the bow guy.
Of course, the Bateen is the better part of 100 feet up in the trees, out of range of even his searing charge, but undeterred, Little One runs over and starts climbing up a tree.
At that rate, it'll take forever to get to him.
I only have to get close enough for a flying charge.
Meanwhile, Draven gets hit, and having failed his save against the Entangle, he's immobilized on the ground in reach of multiple plant beasts. Zahir made his save against the vines, so he's able to back up to a safer position, as they both toss around buffs as best they can. Since their version of Entangle has only a 1-round duration, it occupies 2 of the Briarvex minions every turn to recast it. Because it's constantly being recast, there's little point spending an action to break out, but this also means they have more chances to immobilize anyone who saved a previous time.
Ah!
I'm entangled again!
Draven, get off the damn ground!
How bad is your reflex save?
My dexterity is significantly above the human average, enhanced by magic items, plus I have a powerful cloak of resistance. Regardless, he's stuck in place for another round, so Angel and Mahar focus on pruning back the minions from around him, while Black moves to tank the one non-minion Briarvex of the group, which, rather than dying in a single hit, has over 100 HP, making it a better target to full attack, and also a much better target for his Retributive Amulet, which lets him inflict half the damage from a successful hit back on the attacker. Little One is climbing pretty fast to get at the Bateen archer. The Fae, not knowing his actual plan, hops to a lower leaf on another of the tall trees, and because he moved, he's only able to make 1 shot. Nevertheless, his shadow, currently located on another leaf even farther away, is still able to full attack.
That doesn't even make sense.
Welcome to the Feywild. Still, they cleave through the large plant monsters on the ground. Draven, though pretty hurt, is finally able to get airborne, and Little One surprises the archer, arcing across the space from over 50 feet away to attack him. You'll have to roll for his mischance.
Okay, what's his mischance?
Currently 100%.
What? Just when your attack should have hit him, his body streaks out instantly towards the location of his shadow on another tree, then springs back after your flaming blade has passed through his space. You try to land on the leaf he was standing on, to stay next to him, but even though you are closer to the tree, where it should be stronger, the leaf gives out beneath you, unable to bear any significant weight. Now you need to make either an easy reflex save to grab the trunk as you fall, or an epic difficulty balance check. How high an epic DC? Well, running on clouds is DC 120. This is less hard than that. So little one catches himself a tree, ending up 10 feet below the leaf of crazy shadow cheating dude. I think I've got him figured out. Angel casts Expeditious Retreat as a swift action, and using her slippers of spider climbing, she runs right up the other tree like a boss to hit the dude's shadow, and also misses as the shadow leaps to the real body's location and back in the same way. I think he's bullshit. I don't want to spend the extra charges to maximize and then possibly miss, but I have to at least try a spell, so I'll use a regular Orb of Force on the real body. You still have a miss chance, but it's only 50% because Angel's threatening his shadow. Seriously? I got it! Touch AC 25? That hits. No spell resistance on orbs, so he takes it.
He has spell resistance too?
Maybe. Anyhow, it looks like that hurt him quite a bit. His shadow teleports to a leaf 50 feet further away as a move action, while the real body looks down at little one. Alright, show's over. But don't call me when you find out there's nothing to do with all your strength. And with a whoosh, his body rushes away to meet up with his shadow. What a dick!
Ugh. Do we chase him?
I don't think it's practical. He moves too fast through the treetops, and if he turns and shoots me, I'll probably die. I need healing.
Oh, right.
Do you think he really would have helped us with the spirit? We don't need his help.
Does anybody else feel like we're forgetting something?
Don't think so. So they continue northward to where the spirit is said to be. Pretty soon they realize the woods have gone still. Where before there were birds and animals all over, now nothing is moving amidst the tall blue trunks but them. And then they see the trees thinning up ahead.
By serious!
Thiswell did warn us it was tearing up the place. He said it was a minor decay spirit. He said it was trivial. Looks like the artifact's the real deal.
Next time on Tales from My D&D Campaign.
Okay, if you're so smart, why doesn't this episode have more me? Daggerface!
I'm Daggerface!
Well, for one thing, you aren't in the Feywild?
Huh. Good point. But I'm still outraged.